Oh,
Welcome everybody to
whoa.
another Sunday
Oh,
sermon. I am your co-host along with your host, No Risk, No Premium. I am Mr. Banks. Thank you guys for coming out, spending your time with us on this beautiful Sunday. We're going to go over market overview. We're going to go over what's happening in data for the week because we need to know data that's coming out. We need to know Fed speakers each and every day can greatly affect the market, affect while we're in a trade. So we need to know every single day what data is coming out. We're going to go over that today. We're going to go over what earnings are for the week. We got a couple special ones. And then after that, we'll dive deep into SPY, I think some ES, QQQ, and then I'll go over my watch list for you guys. So thank you guys. I will hand it off to No Risk to start the program.
what's up, guys? Thank you for the intro, Justin. Guys, hope you had an amazing weekend. Now it's time to get back to the mark, guys. Like Justin was saying, on Sunday, you have to get started. You have to plan your week on Sunday. If you think the week starts on Monday, you are a day behind. But the first thing we like to, like Justin just said, let's go over look at what we should expect for some big daddy events coming out this week. Like we said, guys, look, we're not macro economists. We're not economists, or we're not macro traders. We trade the chart, we trade price levels, we trade price action. But it's still always good to have an understanding of what can affect the market and how you can better understand the market and how it's going to react, right? Because you never predict, you just react. So this week, on Tuesday, I think there's two or three events that are the most important, but we'll just go through each day. Tuesday, we have the Case-Shiller Home Price Index, comes out 30 minutes before market open. New home sales and consumer confidence index comes in 30 minutes after market open. So, whoa, why? Oh, so we will know 30 minutes before the market opens, 30 minutes after the market opens. We have two small sets of data. It'll be interesting to look at those prints that come out. Then on to Wednesday, I think the big one here, we could see it, Fed Chair Powell speaks. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about. I don't know if he is opening up some conference. I don't know if he's getting interviewed. I have no idea. No idea. That comes right at market open. Okay, that comes right at market open on Wednesday. Then Thursday, he's back at it, but he's at 2:30 p.m. I'm sorry, 2:30 a.m. Well, a.m. Wait a minute. I wonder if he is in another country, which that might be. Anyway, it says he's coming here again at 2:30. So what is he speaking about? I have no idea. But we'll need to know that that's what's going on. Okay, so obviously, if this is a true print at 2:30 a.m., if he's speaking, he's probably, if that's the case, he must be out of country, I would guess. Need to dive a little bit more into this, make sure that's a confirmed time here on Market Watch. But I guess you can guess that holding overnight from Wednesday to Thursday, having him speak on Wednesday and then speak overnight would be rather risky to do. Okay, but on Thursday, we still have jobless claims as well. So we have Fed Powell twice. Jobless comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 1 hour before the market opened. Then Friday is all of a lot of the personal data, personal income, personal spending. Then we have a ton of PCE data in conjunction with the consumer sentiment. So Friday, a ton of data coming out. Okay, before and just 15 and 30 minutes into the market open down here, as you can see. But the two big things, I think Wednesday we'll need to see what big old Daddy P is going to say. Kind of nice to see on Monday. We don't have anything scheduled though. Right. So tomorrow, nothing scheduled, nothing pre-market, nothing 30 minutes in. Okay. So that's what we like to see. All right. Maybe we could go into, let's take a peek. Well, Justin, we'll take a peek at earnings whisper. Did you have a couple of Justin, did you have a couple of
Sorry.
earnings?
Yeah, we can. So the most notable earnings this week, guys. First one on Monday, Carnival Cruise Line, CCL, right there at the top. That's a great for small accounts, So let's just say they miss, right? Let's just say they miss. Perfect. Big sell-off. That would be a great time to take a swing, right? Great time to take a swing. Carnival Cruise Line isn't going anywhere. I just went on one. It was sold out, right? They're jam-packed. Thing I didn't know when I actually learned about cruises is as soon as they dock in, they literally dock back out that same day, which is wild. Like they never stop. So Carnival Cruise Line is Monday. We do have
Nike on
Walgreens.
Thursday.
We have Walgreens on Tuesday. After that, we do have, yeah, Nike,
I like Nike.
General Mills, Micron would be good. And then Rite Aid would be good. And those are my biggest ones for the week. So we got a couple big ones. Nike will be a big one as well.
Yeah,
Nike
I
can
think a lot
also,
of eyes will be on Nike for sure.
Nike's a good one to trade. That also could be a great swing opportunity. So a couple of these earnings, right? I am definitely going to be paying attention. Are we going to get major sell-offs? Or on the flip side, we can get some really big strength and some flag outs for a nice move up, right? So we can actually trade them for an upside trade as well, especially for a breakout if they do report good, right? So we can either play the weakness on it, right, and take a long dated swing on it, or we could play a breakout on it as well. So a couple big names this week on earnings.
Yep. Richard in the chat says I trade Nike, but this week's contracts are pricey. Exactly. Implied volatility is going to be through the roof, guys. Obviously, leading up into their data, excuse me, their earnings release on Thursday. Okay, so
Yeah, so if you
expect those
guys-
contracts to get more and more expensive the closer you get to that date.
Yeah, so the contracts get inflated, especially when a company has earnings, right?
Mhm.
So if you don't know, that happens to every single one. Much better. If you were to trade into earnings, it would be better to swing into them or trade them at least, you know, a couple weeks out.
Mhm.
Other than that, if you're trying to trade them that week, much better. Just wait until earnings comes out. Plenty of opportunities after the earnings. Like I said, you know, a couple different ways you can play it, whether they're strong or whether they're weak from the
Mhm.
earnings. So,
Yep.
all right,
Let the IV crush come in, and then you buy those contracts at discount.
exactly.
Right. All right, guys, on to the charts. S&P 500, that is ES right here in front of us. As we can see, we talked about this 4380 level. We talked about it from last Sunday. Saw this area over here, right? Lots of demand left over there. We could see you're now bouncing down at this area. So for this week, you want to see this 4380 level hold. And for tomorrow, you want to see this 4380 level. As you can see, we've already bounced about 8 points up off. I'm sorry, almost 20 points up off this bottom. Okay, almost. So I think the game plan for tomorrow, we either need to bounce anywhere above 4380 and creating a higher low on the daily. If we can create the higher low on the daily, we can come out and try to attempt at this 4408, which will be Friday's high of the day. Okay, Friday's high of the day. If we break above that, that means we make a higher high. Is that a possible trend reversal forming? I mean, if we're really looking at this, this is just kind of looking like a flag out right here, right? Just like kind of a bull flag back into some demand here. Maybe we could get a move back up to the highs here. Okay, that's what it looks like to me. So you just want to play what's right in front of us. Now, break and hold underneath 4380. I would wait for 4380 to break and hold to confirm, and I would wait for the lower high, right? Like let's say we break below. If we pop back up really quickly, that's just a liquidity grab. That's a fake breakdown. I would need to see it come down, pop up into it, and reject to continue down. 4367, 4350 below there. I like 4350 for this bounce area right in here. Okay, but if we are getting this is the one thing I've noticed on this chart. We came up to a major supply level. Okay, and yes, we have sold off 90 points pretty much for the most part, right? 100 points. Okay, but it took a week to go 100 points, right? It's a long time. The Bears never really had any volume days where there were just major trend day, huge down day sell-offs, right? It never really happened that way. We kind of every day was a little drop, then just some more sideways action. Drop, came up, and then we had a drop at the close there on Friday. So I'd be waiting for us to make that higher high. So I wouldn't want to be a long unless we hold 4380 or we break 4408. You could be a short on the break and hold of 4380 and looking for the lower high. Okay, or you can be the long, right? Break and hold, making a higher low, then moving higher up from there. Okay, above 4408, 4430, 4440, 4450 above there. You can see there's a lot of conjunction, but above 4450, we do see likely a run back up to that 4493 area. Okay, SPY chart going to look very similar to this ES chart. There it is. SPY chart going to look similar. We really just want to hold this 432. So 432.50 was Friday's low. It looked like even if we get a small dip below, watch this 432. It has to hold. If it holds, you can watch for a bounce right back on up. Even if we gap up, because currently we're up nine handles on the futures right now. So that's really only about 90 cents to $1 on SPY. And that means we'd have to hold that all night to open there. So we'll just have to see if we do open above, look for a possible little wick down some area, holding a higher low, excuse me, hey, higher low above 432 to 432.50. You want to see this area hold. If it does, and we take out 435, 436.50, then takes us to the gap at 439 above there. But above 435, just like we talked about on the ES chart, we get above this, that means we're making a higher high. Okay, if we're making a higher high, this possible downtrend could be coming to an end. Okay, possible downtrend coming to an end, and that would could be in conjunction as well with a lower, a higher low as well, right? If we don't get below this and then we break this high, we have a higher low and we have a higher low and a higher high. That could be a trend reversal. So 435 and 432, those will be the big levels for Monday. Take out 436.50, target the gap there at 438 to 439. Above 439, we definitely see 430, 444. 444. We see that previous week high. Underneath 432, though, we could easily drop back down to this 430 level. Remember, that was the top of that little bit of balance area that we had going on over here. You guys remember this? If we zoomed out, had some balance in here, then we broke out from it. So I'd want to see, do we come back and literally back test this area? One touch, actually 1, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. Okay, 5 touch back test and go. Do we see the same thing happen in this area over here between 429.50 and 430? That would have to be if we got underneath 432. Okay, under 432. I'd be looking for the bounce here at 432 or the break and hold of 435. QQQ, what's going on with the Qs? Still stronger than SPY, even though they're showing a little bit of weakness for a few days. But they had an inside day. What's an inside day? That is a higher low, but a lower high, right? So your daily candle is completely inside of the other one. That is showing compression. That is showing that the consolidation is happening. It's also a bullish measure, I would think, if you're in a downtrend and then you make a higher low, right? So now you're really just going to want to watch the break and hold of either the previous days highs and lows. But we talked about this 360 level. Look at this touch here, stayed above it here. So bulls are definitely defending at 360. It's been a major level. Okay, possible liquidity grab could come, take us to the top of this balance that we had, similar to that SPY chart. You guys remember we spent this huge wide range in QQQ, right? Very similar. 1, 2, 3 touches. If we do, this is a long for me right here. 357.50. We'd have to break and hold under 360 though to get to 357.50. But I like both of these areas. As you can see, how many bounces we've had. 1, 2, 3. I got a higher low here. So this 360 area is holding up very strong. You would think if we hold Friday's low, we're going to try to attempt to take out the high. So look for the bounce. Still want 360 to hold above 364. Call it 365, right? Call it 365. Above 365 takes on Thursday's high. 366.50, 368. Above 368 takes us to 372. Above 372 is 375. IWM, what's going on with IWM? Red-headed stepchild, Russell 2000 has been looking notably weak. Right? Not good for bulls, not good for the broader markets either. But guys, remember, if you thought SPY and Qs was a pain to trade, if you actually would have traded, if you would have traded the IWM from, what is this, March all the way to June, that's 3 months. Look at this mess it was in this whole time. So it finally broke out and it back tested. It went up. It got all the way up to that 189. Now it's come back down. Okay. It has come back down to this same area. Okay, the same 179.50 to 180. We've known that's a huge level. We need to stay above that for the broader markets to think that the bulls are still in control and this pullback is coming to an end. And we could see more upside from here because back underneath 179.50 confirms a failed breakup. As you can see, not huge selling pressure and not huge downside. You know, we're only down 5 points off breaking this balance area here. So really just going to want to watch 179.50 to 180. Do we hold that tomorrow? If we hold that, then we'd like to see if we can get back above 182.50. It would take us up to 184.85 above there, creating a higher low on the daily, possible pullback finished from there. Okay, above 185, 186.50, 189, 192 above there, 196 above there. If we do break below 189.50, there's a huge gap that goes all the way down to 176 that would likely get filled. I would think we'd see a bounce at 176 once that gap gets filled, if we break and hold under 180. Whew. All right, I made it through, guys. That's all I got for you. I will hand it over to Justin. He's going to go through his watch list. So Justin, go ahead, brother.
Awesome. Cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick with you guys. Cool. You guys can see that AMD chart.
Yes.
Cool. Let's go over the first one on the watch list is going to be AMD. Now, we had some relative weakness with AMD this week along with the chips. But what I am looking for this week, I'm watching for a possible continuation down. Now, as we know, we did get that nice little bounce at 107.50. Why don't you want to? The hell? Oh, wait. There. I don't know. So actually, there we go. So we had that nice little bounce at 107.50. What I am looking for this week is possible continuation for a break and hold below this 105, all the way down to 103. So 105 to 103 down in this area. I do think we're definitely going to see some sort of bounce there. Let me pull it to the bigger time frame for you guys. I mean, you guys can see it clear as day here. We have a nice demand zone here, right? Have a nice little
We
demand
called
zone.
that bounce on live on Friday. I remember I said 107.50 or something like that, and it went, yeah.
So 105, down to 103. Why you can see it better on this daily chart here. 105 would be pretty much the end of the bottom of this demand, and then huge, right? Be a huge support here, right? Resistance turns support down into that 103 area. So we do get down here, looking at a possible long, looking at this short side to cease here a little bit. 105, 103, if we have some continuation to the downside. But if we decide to bounce here, we decide that we want to bounce here and hold strong, I am looking at this 111. So if we do break and hold over this 111 area this week, I will look to get long to a test back into our 115 area, all the way up to 117, a 180 area. So all the way back up to where we pretty much sold off here. That is where I'll take a nice look to advanced back. It's about 115.36, but essentially 115 to 118, 117 is where I look to get back from 111 here. So we could even look at 114 first if we want, and then 115 up to 117.70, 118 for breaking hold over 111. But on the daily, it is looking like we are coming to this big right? But this big zone here. So even if we decide to sell through this demand, I still think that we're going to get a bounce somewhere around 103, retest where this nice rejection was that we broke out of, and find it as a support level if we do sell through this demand here on AMD. So that's what I'm watching this week for AMD. Next one on the list is also going to be NVDA. Let me go ahead and get you down to the 1 hour real quick. Some levels here, 420, 420, 420, blaze it for you guys. This is a huge level. Why is it a huge level? Can anybody tell me? We're looking at this. Why is 420 such a huge level? Okay, anybody tell me in the chat? Any reason there? Supply would be selling. Supply would be selling, so demand would be bouncing, right? Supply is sell, demand would be buying. Yes, keeps bouncing, demand keeps bouncing, yes. Yeah, so you guys take a look here. What happens every time we come down to this 420 area? Bounce, 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 right? We keep bouncing. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I do think a very big possibility though is that we open up below 420 tomorrow. Why do I think that? Because every time we come down here, right, we kind of see these bounces getting lower. That demand is getting eaten up here. That demand is getting eaten up here. But until the market opens up tomorrow, that 420 will remain a huge level. Of course, I will update during the pre-market, but this 420, as you guys can see, right, keeps getting weaker. So we could easily push through this 420 here and head lower. If that is the case, I will be looking around 415. We'll be looking around 415 here. And then after that, I will be looking all the way down to 405 and then 400 as my big levels, right? So 405, 415, 405, and then 400 if we do decide to get very, very weak here. As you guys do know, it could be distribution as well, right? What is distribution, right? We've been running up. Nice little distribution here, right? Can't really seem to get above. Looks like potentially that sellers are going to take control over here, and then we head back down since we can't really seem to break out of this nice range that we're in. We are getting weaker. We are doing smaller bounces up. So it would appear that we do get weak. But as always, let's just keep the bias free. When we come into the market, we can trade whatever happens. In the case that we do hold though, I am looking around 428 to get long for a nice little move to around 430, 431. So that would be a nice little scalp opportunity. 428 to 430, 431 here, scalping up. And then all the way up to this 435. And as we know, this 440 would be all the way to the upside. So those are my levels this week on NVIDIA. Next one on the list is going to be Amazon. Now we have seen a lot of relative weakness, right? A lot of weakness in the market. But what is Amazon doing? It's holding up quite well compared to the rest of the market here. So I do like this going up. Yes, we are looking a little bit weak. We couldn't break out here. But in all reality, it's not really selling off, right? We've actually held very well comparable to the market. So this week, I am looking to see if we do hold this, if we do get strong. I would not take, let me just go ahead because this was an old level. So let me just remove this one. I would look to go long if we broke and held this 131.20, right? This big level here. So if we do decide to get strong, I don't think I really want to take a long until we break this 131.20 to get long there. Now, if we do look to get weak, I could see to take a short off of our big level here at 128.80, right? 128.80 is going to be our huge level here. We finally broke through it. So if we do decide to get short, I'll be looking for a nice short position, or we could just wait for a nice bounce. But we do have this huge imbalance here that we could go and fill. So break of 128.80 here, looking around 127 and down to 125. This would fill this. I would be confident, especially if we decided to get weak, to take a bounce and a nice swing in this area here. It's nice round 125 if we do decide to get all the way weak here, or this 131.20 are really my biggest levels that I'll be watching here on Amazon. Next one on the list is going to be a Meta. Meta also with some strength, right? Meta showing some relative strength compared to the market. If we do decide to stick with this strength, if Meta decides to stick with this strength, I am looking for a break and hold over this 290, break and hold over 290. And then let me go to the daily, kind of have to zoom over 296, and then around 300. We could see 300 here was a nice little support, would probably turn into resistance there. And what would 300 be? Can anybody tell me what 300 is? What is 300? What kind of number is that considered? What kind of level is that considered? Anyway, type it. Psych. Good job. Big, huge psychological number. 100, 200, 300, right? 300 would be a huge psychological number. So we do decide to get long and break above. We really need to see, we could have a nice big rejection there. Or if we stay really strong, it could easily have a nice big breakout over 300. But we still need to get over this 290 level, right? This 290 level, we're looking at 296, and then this huge 300 psych level right up here. Good job, guys. You guys know your stuff. Sorry, and let me show you the downside here on Meta this week. 285, looking for 285. Now this is demand here, but if we decide to get really weak here, we could sell through, and I would be looking around 280 here for a nice bounce, all the way down to 277. We can even say 275, but I'll be looking at 280 first, around 277, and then 275 to take a bounce trade here for relief bounce if we decide to get weak. And then also, obviously, this 290 level to the upside. Last but not least, we have Google on the list. Let me show you something. I don't normally go to the weekly, but let's go to the weekly. What does this look like? What does this look like? What candlestick pattern would you guys say this is? Flag. Perfect. Yep. Bull flag. Yeah. So on the weekly, we're looking like a big bull flag kind of happening. And where did we rest? Now we kind of broke below, but where did this candle rest? Right on this big, which was what resistance, looking like it's turning to support, right? We had a huge sell-off from this level. You can even see back here, we had some resistance until we broke out. So we could see that this level around 122 is a huge level, dating even all the way back to April of this year. So 122, a huge level. We kind of flagged out into it, and now we're holding. So on the weekly time frame, right, the bigger time frames show you, it does kind of like a cup and handle too. I will say that. Yep, absolutely. I would prefer the handle to begin right here, but yes, it kind of does look like a cup and handle as well. But yeah, big bull flag. So we do decide to get strong. Let me show you my levels that I'm looking at this week. As we know, with the bigger time frames, right, kind of gives us that bigger picture, the kind of that bigger confirmation of what's really going on, in the grand scheme of things. This week, I am looking at, we have this nice little gap fill. So I will need to get a break and hold over this 123.50, the top of the gap, right, to even consider going long. I will need to get a break and hold over 123.50, because what can easily happen is we fill this gap, we head back down. So 123.50 will be my big level here to get long. After that, I am looking at 120, around 125 here. And then after that, all the way up to 127, and then all the way up to around 129. And then we have that 130 nice even round number would be my levels to the upside. But really need to see this gap fill and hold and break above this 123.50 for me to get long this week. If we do get to the short side, we'll be looking for bounces. I don't really like the short side in this instance. I would really need to get below this low. So pretty much around 119, I would need to break and hold below that to really want to get to take the short side here. I am looking, because of the bull flag, because of how it's playing out, I am really looking more so to the upside to play out this week. And that is on the, you're looking at the daily, kind of like a head and shoulders here. Yeah, I can see it. It's not the prettiest, but yeah, you could, I look still like a bull flag to me, even on the daily. I think the head and shoulders is kind of pushing it a little bit, but I do see what you're talking about, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. So I absolutely do see what you're saying, but I think it's looking more towards the bull flag. But yeah, like I said, if I'm not really going to get weak, I do really need to see a break and hold below this level around 119 to get weak. But Rich, I do see what you're saying. Absolutely. I do see what you're saying there with the head and shoulders. 119 to get weak though, but that 123.50 to get long. Guys, it is another week, one trade at a time. I think most of you do just need to take one trade a day. That's it, and be happy with that. When it comes to my call outs, guys, just know I want everyone to eat with me, right? I want everyone to eat with me. Sometimes the calls, the market, right? The trade could take off right away. Sometimes it could take 10 to 20 minutes for it to take off, right? I can't control that. Just know that I want you guys to eat, right? It's not like I'm making a call and I'm like, oh, they didn't get it with me. Oh, I don't give a fuck. No, I want everyone to get it with me. So I can't control sometimes how fast it moves. But this week, right, we're going to take some great trades together. We're going to take it one trade at a time, look to execute, and we're going to have an awesome fucking week this week. Right? Who's with me? Who's ready to have a good week this week? Type
I
in the
am.
chat. You are?
I am. Today gonna be a good week. It looks like really quickly, Rich did some digging. He said FYI, Powell will be in Portugal and Spain. The 02:30 hours Eastern Standard Time is correct. He's speaking at two different conferences this week. Okay, so our suspicion was correct that he is actually out of country. So love to hear it. Love to hear that Powell will be talking, so we'll know that that's coming up. But you know, guys, hey, other than that, it's Monday, right? It's Monday. Got to let the market settle down from the weekend. It's the first trading day of the week. Don't go blowing your load. Don't go do anything stupid. You've gone through the whole Sunday sermon. Now we're going to see you guys in the morning for the pre-market huddle. Just get your levels out, have your trade plan in front of you, and have your contracts up and be ready to execute, right? Just be ready to execute.
And I
Right.
do want to say one more thing, especially with the trades, right? You're not, when it comes to trades, you're not going to get every opportunity. You're not going to be able to take every single trade. I see about 5 to 10 trades every single day that I miss. I absolutely miss, right? Because I'm in another trade. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? So even if you miss one trade, guess what? There's so many more opportunities in the market to take another trade every single day. So don't get caught up on missing a trade, right? There should be no even thought of I missed anything. It's just on to the next one. Look for the next opportunity. And then when it's there, boom, take it, handle it like a boss, and just get in.
Yep.
Right. So get out of your vocabulary. Oh, I missed something. You didn't miss anything. Why? Because there's hundreds of opportunities every single day in the market for you to take a trade, right? Always not another opportunity. So you never miss anything. There's always, because how many times have you seen a trade and you're like, damn, that went 300%. And then what happens? Maybe like 3 days later, you see another trade and it went 1,000%, right? Or, you know, another one went another 300%, or even the same day, right? There's always another opportunity to take another trade. So I think it's really easy to get caught up in the moment of like, oh, I missed that. You didn't miss anything. Always another opportunity. The more you focus on the negatives, especially about trading, the more negative things will happen, right? So let's just stick to the positives. You didn't miss anything. I think AI is the future. No, I don't know. You're talking about the chart, I'm sure.
Yep. I think every single conference call will have AI on it. They will mention the word AI.
Yeah, I mean, we could look for a bounce here in around the 30 range. But
Yeah, I would think that 30 whole number looks pretty decent.
30 would be my hold. Yeah, 30 would be the spot to hold there. So if we can hold 30, we can easily try to take it up. But look for 30 to hold this week on AI.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys. Let's have a killer week.
Yep.
See you guys at free market bright and early. We're going to absolutely kill it. One trade at a time. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Relax. I will see you guys bright and early.
And of course, don't do anything fucking stupid. See you guys early. Peace.